I'm Jackie Van Ham, and if you missed part 1 of our previous episode with Lariyah Perrin, world-renowned tattoo artist and motorcyclist, make sure you go check out that episode and come on back. Part 2, the story gets even more exciting here on Z1R's Downshift. Despite what we do as riders on our bikes, or in life in general to remain safe, accidents can and do happen, and Lariyah experienced a terrifying one a few years ago.
I was on tour with my band in 2015. That was in February. And the driver fell asleep and he killed 3 people. I was the 4th one to die, but I was actually brought back. However, my hand was severed, and so it was an absolute miracle that they were even able to reattach it. I was given 0 chance to ever move it, accordingly to the doctors, but I was just very stubborn and I decided to take it on my own and did the YouTube rehabilitation. So yeah, after a few months I started feeling that there's something happening, and so you know, then you just start trying to do any exercise as possible. And yeah, it actually started to function slowly but surely, and to the point that nowadays I can tattoo realism. So
wow, yeah. Unbelievable. I'm just completely, I'm speechless. You know, it's very rare that I run out of things to say, but that to me is just really incredible, and especially I think it speaks to this, I mean, just this willpower that you have, as well as just overcoming, because you just have so much to live for and so many different interests.
You know, to me it was also another thing, because my mother died when I was 2 in a car accident, and since my daughter was 6 weeks old when that happened, I did not want to do it to her, because I suffered from severe depression and just figures like there's no point of doing, you know, anything, because I always drew, and I was a fitness coach, and I did a lot of modeling then, so technically everything was taken away. But then seeing this little girl is just like, you know what, I have to keep going. And if people without limbs, or like with you know, like with just a torso up, they can do some crazy stuff, it's like, who am I to complain? You know, it's like it's still attached, and yeah, but painfully, but slowly, but everything started to get better, you know. And I never had pretty hands, so it didn't really matter at that point. So
you're like, I'm not a hand model.
No,
you know?
God no.
Even with that experience, Lariyah remains dedicated to living life to its absolute fullest. You know, you're this like wanderlust spirit that you have. I think it absolutely speaks to motorcycling.
To me, riding a motorcycle is an escape from the regular life, you know, so especially if you're extremely busy and have so much going on in your life, it almost feels like you need that time to just, again, feel free, relax. So that's why it's to me it's a crucial part at this point. So I'm trying to take a bike as often as I can to work, but otherwise we're trying to always find time whenever we can, which is hard, but to make longer trips. He made me actually do the first Iron Butt, and yeah, we went to Sturgis and back a couple times, and yeah, and even for I forgot what was the event, but we went to Michigan, and just like whatever we can take off we do, or to do a Dragon's Tail. So yeah, as much as we can, but the time is pretty restricting lately.
Yeah. What would be like a bucket list motorcycle trip for you?
Oh, I already know that is happening next year. So we're going to actually fly to India, and we're going to do the Himalaya run.
Wow.
So yes, you can rent a bike there. I doubt that it's actually Harley. I think it's a Royal Enfield. And you're going with a group of, I believe, 10 people. And from the very bottom for a week, you're going pretty much all the way to the top.
Well, that's absolutely incredible. I think that your story is so fascinating, and you've just lived 25 different lives and jammed it all in. Like I said, also, you just got off of a plane from Europe. Travel clearly is a big deal for you. Traveling overseas on a motorcycle is a big deal for you too. I love that, how it all ties in together. It's so fascinating. But speaking of traveling, speaking of motorcycles, let's get out of here and go ride.
Let's do it.
The aptly named Scorch Vest is perfect on those hot riding days. Made of full-grain cowhide leather with a zippered front closure, the Scorch also includes gathered stretch panels for an optimal fit. Despite not having as much material as a jacket, there are 2 concealed carry pockets. Ladies, you'll turn heads on those hot days with a Z1R Scorch vest.
It's time to get some of my favorite Z1R gear on and get riding with this incredibly inspiring woman.
I want to be you when I grow up. I think we're both doing A-okay, my friend. I think we're both out here living our lives, doing our thing. I know we chatted back at the shop. What year did you go to Sturgis?
Oh god, so last year, 2 years ago, 4 years ago, and 5 years.
Oh, okay, so you go all the time. Okay, right on.
Yeah, never done Daytona, for example, so I'm really planning on doing that, or what is on the east?
Laconia.
Yeah, so wanted to do that one too.
Yeah, you'll love Laconia then. Laconia is gorgeous. Gorgeous.
What I really want to do is the Route 66. Like, that's another thing I really would love to do.
Like, all you need to do is fly to New Mexico, rent a bike, and just do Colorado, New Mexico. Like, that's the best chunk.
Yeah, no, it's because, I mean, again, like, I drove it on tour, so it was more like, I don't know, nostalgia, I guess, you know, and I know how boring it is. I really do.
In case you haven't been paying attention, Lariyah is definitely not the type to sit still, and that doesn't appear to be ending anytime soon.
What do you think is next after Elgin? Where is your next stop? Where do you see yourself?
Yeah, so when my daughter is 18, we're gonna go to Europe and probably Norway. I really like America a lot, but when you are actually European, it's just like there's a void, you know, like it's way more, you don't know, it's like way more old world. People live different, you know, and the whole chase of money is not that important, you know, like everybody just lives day by day. It's like, oh, we're kind of poor, so we cannot really go to eat out, but let's just buy beer, you know, and just enjoy it. And here is just a non-stop stress, and yeah, this is this non-stop dollar thing. But and to be fair, like I got into it too because now that I can finally afford something in my life.
Look at those boys dangling out of that car. Another thing I love about the European culture is that you grow up on motorcycles and scooters. Like, it's from a super young age.
Yes, that is true.
Was that the same for you in Poland? Did you ride then?
No, I grew up in a very, very poor family, so I had a bicycle.
Oh, okay. Would you teach your daughter how to ride?
No, she doesn't want to. She says that she's anti-tattoos, but she doesn't want to go on the bike, but I'm sure it will change.
Yeah, she's still as young. I mean, it's not for everybody, just because you and I happen to love it.
After going through that horrifying accident and recovery, it's not surprising that there are lingering effects.
One thing, however, going back to the bike in my hand, it's as much as I love high bars, I might need to lower it because of my hand, how it feels after riding a little bit longer.
Oh, I bet. That's interesting.
Most of us that ride embrace the freedom and the independence that it gives us, but Lariyah takes it to a whole nother level.
Yeah, I also think that at some point in your life, I think that in my 30s it hit me that you don't really need everybody, you know, like you just need a circle of people that are very close, that's really it, so.
That is very true. I love that.
I cannot tell you how much I enjoyed spending time with the talented, fearless, and determined Lariyah Perrin, learning about her amazing life, and of course, going motorcycle riding. Thank you for joining us, and make sure to check out the next episode of Z1R Downshift.